Hey guys, and welcome back to the latest episode of Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe, and this week we're going to talk about crossovers. How you doing, Pepe?
I'm very good, Nathan. I am very good. I'm very excited to talk about crossovers because they are like my favorite thing in any form of media. So like if it's like gaming or like movies or like TV shows or whatever, like a crossover always feels like a special occasion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's because it's the collaboration, which is the other key word here, really, I guess. It's a collaboration of two brands or, like sets of characters or something. Or, well, not specifically two, but like several brands, like different franchises and stuff. So you're right, it is a special occasion because like a lot of work goes into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm good to talk about some of my favorite ones. Interested to hear what your favorite ones are as well. Yeah, I think to be fair, if anyone's like listened to our discussions before, I'm pretty sure you'll know what's coming up here.
Yeah,
there's a fair few like that.
There's definitely gonna be some repeats.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about a fair few collaborations or crossover, like at least games, many times.
Yeah.
Some of them are most likely going to be repeated here because, again, they're great and you should try them.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. So, Nathan, why don't you start? Go for like a crossover that's like big in your mind or whatever.
Okay, well,
what's big in your mind? Tell me.
The first thing that crosses my mind right now is the Mario Rabbids game.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because recently, as of this year, we also got confirmed and it was announced like the second one's coming next year. That game surprisingly was amazing and sort of like, when you hear like Mario and Rabbids, you have absolutely like no thoughts on it. You're like, it's Rabbids.
Yeah.
Rabbids really brings it down, like Mario's like top tier and then Rabbids like really brings it down. But that game was really good.
Yeah.
And they blended the two worlds surprisingly well.
Yeah, I get you.
It was a really good cohesion, and I'm quite excited for the second one, even though I didn't finish the first one.
Okay. That's like a consistent thing I've heard about this Mario Rabbids game is that it is actually really good, like surprisingly good. I've heard from you and a couple other people as well that this is actually a really really good game, and like it's always on sale on the Nintendo eShop. I don't know if you've ever noticed, like it's always going for dirt cheap.
Yeah, I have noticed that, which is if sometimes it feels like a shame because you're like, oh, that's actually really, especially like if you're like me and you played it, you own it, and you're like, but that's a good game, it should be worth more. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, but if it keeps going on sale, more people are likely to try it.
It's true, yeah.
And then it's like it's more likely to continue as a franchise rather than just like these one-offs. And obviously now I guess you could kind of say it's a franchise because there's going to be a second one. But like the potential is there that it would just keep going,
Are you hyped for the second one?
I really am. Like I really, really enjoyed the first one. The only reason I didn't finish it is because I got stuck. It's not because the game sucks. Like if anything, I suck at the game.
What kind of gameplay is it? Is it like is it platform? It's like a RPG kind of thing.
So it's a turn-based like strategy game.
Yeah.
So as everyone should know, I guess, from back in the day when the first trailer got announced, and it was weird because everyone's like, "Oh, Mario's got a gun," right? So it's a turn-based strategy game. So you're supposed to move Mario and like Rabbid Peach, Rabbid Luigi, or normal Luigi. Like you're supposed to move your characters strategically around the arena.
Okay.
So that you can take out the enemies, but the enemies can't kill you.
Okay.
But I got stuck towards the end of the game. There's a level where there's like the Berserker Rabbids. They're like really big hulking ones that do a lot of damage, and there's very little like cover.
Okay.
And you're not supposed to really fight, but I found like I couldn't move enough to stay out of the way without having to fight. But then there were several of them along the way, and it was just you were supposed to escape, but to me it just seemed impossible. It clearly isn't because people have finished the game, so
yeah.
I think I'm just bad.
Maybe it's one of those things like if you picked up again, like maybe like a couple months time or whatever, like you'll kind of get like a second wind. Maybe I always find that with some games.
Maybe. I mean, I haven't tried yet. It's been a few years since I picked the game up, so
I always find like when when you get stuck on something and like you put it down for ages and then like that hype comes back after like a couple years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you get the same. And then you pick it up and you're still pretty crap at it because you haven't played it in so long.
But like once you pick it up, like you just all of a sudden everything clicks and you're like, well, I don't know why I struggled.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Like, I do get that sometimes, but it's so I don't know. It feels like very few and far between sometimes. You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes you pick up a game and you're just like, nope, I remember why I put this down.
I get that. Yeah. No, fair. I would say I want to pick it up, but like, especially if it's a turn-based RPG, that really does sound like my kind of thing. A turn-based strategy thing. It does sound like my kind of game.
I think the strategy element is what probably would turn most people off.
Mm.
But like, it really is quite good. And I don't know, like if the second one comes out and the first one goes even cheaper, I would definitely recommend you pick it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's all like that's the thing. Is
Not just you, Pepe. I mean you out there
yeah.
listening as well.
Yeah, I get you. Like, it's always like, what was it like less than 11, like sometimes it's like 7.99 on the eShop. Like,
Yeah, and that's like for me, that's cheaper than what I think it's worth.
mm,
To be fair, it's a very good game, and I'd say it's worth at least like 20-25 pound. I know that's lower than what it sold for at launch, but like I'm I don't think anyone would ever truly be like, yeah, this game was totally worth 50 quid.
yeah, I think 50 quid is, it feels pretty steep for games these days, but you just buy them because you have to at this point. If you want the game day one, you're going to be paying 50 quid maximum. If
Yeah,
you find it cheap online, maybe 40, but like,
and in before anyone says, right, we are not trying to say developers don't deserve to be paid properly, okay?
mm,
We're not belittling anyone's work. I was a game design student myself, so I fully understand the trials and tribulations of producing a game. We are not doing that.
no.
Believe me, we're not.
No, of course not. I think it's like it's a weird conversation like that one. Like, where does the money go or whatever? Like, where do you think it deserves to go?
Yeah,
But regardless, like, scrapping all that, like, yeah. If Nathan says it's a good game, I'd say I'd take his recommendation on it. I've taken his recommendation on quite a few things before. Yeah. So yeah, fair man. I do want to check it out, but I feel like for me it's a motivation thing. Like, I think I've got so many games in my back catalog already.
I get that.
Like, I need to like sort of sort that stuff out before I feel like I jump on something else.
Well, Christmas is coming up. Maybe it turns up in your Christmas gifts.
Mate, if you're getting me, if you get me like this present, I ain't gonna complain. Nathan buys it for me, then yeah, go for it.
We'll see. We'll see if you've been a good enough boy or not.
Hey, Santa Nathan, good old Saint. No, I was gonna say like Saint Nicholas pun, but like Saint Nathanless doesn't really go that well.
That sounds even worse. That just sounds like I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, Nathanless. Yeah, there we go. So if Nathan ever leaves this thing, that's what the podcast is. It won't be called Cultured Boys anymore. It's just gonna be called Nathanless.
Yeah. Wow, that's like a really depressing title.
Yeah, it's just Pepe, just Pepe talking to himself. Nice.
Well, that depressing thought aside, hit us with one of yours, Pep. What's a crossover that you love that isn't the obvious?
Okay, that isn't the obvious. I was going to mention this regardless anyway, but what was it? Keeping with the video game theme, I'm going to say that one of my favorite crossovers is Project Cross Zone.
Yeah,
on the 3DS. Like, you played this one at all?
I played the first one. I didn't play the second one.
Yeah. Did you complete the first one?
I think I almost did. I want to say I was maybe, I don't know, like 5 to 7 missions from the end, but like I didn't finish it because it started to get really hard and levels would take like an hour to finish, and I was like, I'm not putting in an hour.
It is. They genuinely did. Like it went from like doing a really quick mission to like it did take ages to do these other bits. And I think I managed to like fill up a 4-hour plane journey just doing a couple missions towards the end. Like,
That's not good though.
yeah.
Like to me, that's not game design.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, it depends on how you look at it, because I feel like, yeah, it did get harder, don't get me wrong. But, like, bear in mind, okay, hold on. Just gonna take this, mention this straight away, because I feel like I've just jumped into, hating on it. But even though I was like, yeah, it's one of my favorite ones. Like, it is a very good game. A crossover mechanic, the whole character interactions from it
oh, dude, I will agree with you. This is one of those where Pepe said this is they're a special occasion. This one really was, and it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't even think we were gonna get this, to be fair. But like when they first announced it, there was no like word of a international release. Like I just heard it was going into Japan, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I like kind of bummed me out a little bit. But then they announced it, and for those who don't know what Project Crossover is, it's a collaboration between Sega, Capcom, and Namco, I believe, Bandai Namco.
Yes.
So like that is a really like that was like when I heard about this and seeing all the characters that were popping up, we got Dante in there. You got like I thought those are two Capcom characters, obviously.
I mean, you had Dante, you had Ryu, you had Kazuya,
Yeah, you had the Virtua Fighter,
you had Rival Schools, Virtua Fighter,
Sakura Wars that was in there.
yeah, God Eater, you had Mega Man, I believe, as well.
Mega Man was in there. Yeah, Mega Man and Zero. You like Phoenix, right? He was in the second one. Like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna like put two of these under one branch, the second one and the first one.
Oh well, if you're including the second one, then the second one you had Shinobi as well. Like from the Hotsuma from the Shinobi franchise from the PS2 era, which is when I was playing it. So it was really cool. It was a super ambitious like crossover. I'm sure there's franchises we forgot as well. Like we just didn't mention. There was quite a few.
In the second one, we had like what was it Xenosaga characters as well from like Monolith.
Oh, okay.
Was in there, and you had like in the second one you had Chrom and Lucina as well.
Oh wow.
They were characters in there, and Fiora as well from Xenoblade Chronicles. She appeared in that. But yeah, like there's loads of like it covered so many bases with this, and it's like it's very similar to it's like a turn-based like sort of strategy RPG thing.
Yeah,
as well. But I played this. I absolutely love the game. I remember the demo came out for it at first. I think there were like maybe 2 demos, different character demos.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, there was like so like I loved it. The whole you know when like a crossover game comes out and sometimes the dialogue is just really weak.
Yeah.
Or the story just kind of sucks. It's like I felt this was like a fleshed out sort of like kind of crossover story. Yeah, bear in mind probably I think most crossover stories do feel like fan fiction in a way, but yeah, it's one of the better ones on that sort of scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I personally I didn't pay attention to the story much. I was just really into the gameplay. Like I loved that if you put certain characters together, like you know, you had your time period to do your attacks, and like you could combo really hard.
Yeah.
Like if you just knew the characters you had and how each move worked, you could combo the like your enemy like until the timer ran out. And you could kill some enemies like in one combo.
Like towards the end, definitely. I feel like I mastered that. But as you say, going back to when we first started talking about this just then, like you're right. Towards the end, like the missions got harder and harder, and they got longer and longer to a point where you think you've completed it, and then a whole batch of new enemies turn up, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't finish it. It's because it wasn't hard because it was like an evolution of gameplay or whatever. It was just hard because it was like, oh, now you're just in like, you know, this is just wave 15 of 20 of enemies and you're just trying to survive the whole time. That's different if you were like, you know, first person shooter because, you know, you're still running around and stuff. But when it's turn based and you need all your characters together so you can combo properly or whatever, and you can't because they're all spread out and, you know, it's strategy. So certain characters move less spaces than others. But then all of a sudden you've just got enemies of varying levels constantly coming at you. Like that sucks.
Yeah. It hurts even more when like there's like a whole batch of really strong enemies that come at you and you just about got through the last wave. You're like, no, please. It's like a time thing. It's a difficulty thing. It adds up.
Yeah, exactly.
But nonetheless, I did complete the first one. I haven't completed the second one.
I don't even own the second one. Funny enough, it was one that I just missed out on buying at the time.
Yeah, they're quite pricey to get a hold of now. I believe these games they're quite pretty price.
I think it's because they're quite rare.
Yeah, I do. Like even just speaking of it now, I do want to pick up like Project Cross Zone 2 again.
I'd like to pick it up for the first time.
Yeah, but when I complete it, Nathan, in like about 50 years or whatever, you can borrow it now. But yeah, that's one of them as well. That was a really good crossover. Like one that was like I had hype from the beginning for as well. Like as I said, like I'm surprised it's even made it over to the West. I genuinely thought it was not going to make it. Like there's some obscure names in there as well that people probably haven't heard of, or it wasn't that popular here. But they brought it over anyway. Like they translated it all. Like it was brilliant.
That's the main point. Is that it was translated, like it was localized more than anything. because that's probably where it would have hit the biggest roadblock is, oh, this region, the rights belong to X company or what, like, like
Mm.
licensing issues is normally why these kind of things struggle to come outside of Japan.
It's like one of those ones as well. Like when we talk about crossovers as well, like you forget how much work actually goes into. I think that's what makes it even special. It's like two companies coming together to make these sort of things.
Yeah.
And like, or in this case, it'd be three companies and two, four. Because if you like, I guess these are all on 3DS anyway, so Nintendo had like a big part to play in it, regardless. But like, it's always cool. I always like appreciate this game, and just about like when you think Bandai Namco or like Sega, you think oh Sonic and Pac-Man, but like they aren't in this at all. Like that's like a heads up. Like then like even like some of their biggest mascots on it, and but I put that down to it being not really suited for that world that they designed. Like you know what I mean?
It's not as cartoony. Like Sonic and Pac-Man, whilst iconic, I agree with you, are more like cartoony characters.
Yeah,
The characters that they put in it were more realistic, let's say.
I agree. Yeah, like you had thingy from Dead Rising as well, Frank.
Oh yeah, Frank West was in it. I forgot about him.
Frank West is in it. It was another one popped into my mind, but oh yeah, Darkstalkers characters they were in there as well.
Oh yeah, they were, weren't they? It was basically like a lot of fighting game characters.
It was a lot of fighting game characters, and there's what was it? There was well, one that really threw me off was there's a Die Hard game that came out, and like apparently like it was big. I think it was made by Capcom. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
I think I know the one you're talking about. I think I've actually played that game.
No, that was a really popular one, and obviously they couldn't call the main character. I forget, like, please excuse me, I haven't watched the Die Hard films. I'm not a massive fan of Die Hard, but the main character in it, the one that Bruce Willis plays.
I can't remember his name either. I know who you're talking about.
Obviously, they couldn't name him that character, and his character design is very much based off Bruce Willis, but it's completely different. Like they've kind of stripped all the Die Hard references from it, but he's in there doing his bits.
I've definitely played that game, that Die Hard game. It was a really cool arcade game.
Yeah, I think it's good that they transferred all this. Sagata Shunshiro's in it as well.
Oh yeah, he is.
I think it's
He's in the second one. Yeah,
the second one. He is. He's in the second one. That was like one of the. He's a support character in it.
Oh, he's only a support. That's lame.
No.
Why is he not a playable? Come on, man.
I mean, like he is like technically like when it comes to support characters, they're like added in like Phoenix Wright as a support as well, and
Yeah, I know, but like, you want him to be like, I know, like when I say playable, it's questionable because like turn-based strategy games aren't. You're not technically like moving around all the time. You're just sort of placing your pieces in a good spot.
Yeah.
But like, that was one of the selling points to me was that Sagata Sanshiro was in it. But I thought he was playable, not a support. That's lame.
I mean, he's still got some like dialogue in there. He's still there, and he knows all the Sega characters. Like, there's Tales of characters in there as well that he just communicates with. Like,
oh, cool. But like, is he like? Is he throwing people over his shoulders and being like, Sega?
Oh, I can't remember. That's the one thing. I remember him appearing in it, but I'm unsure. I'm unsure about that. We'll have to play it and find out. But yeah, that's a couple of my favorite ones for sure. Go on, Nathan. Hit us with another crossover.
The worst thing is, I had a different one in mind whilst we were just talking about Project Cross Zone, and I can't remember what it is now.
Oh, okay.
Like, I got really hyped for a second and then I've lost it, so I'm just going to talk about something else. I mean, we've talked about it before, but the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
The Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, yeah.
That was like a really big cartoon crossover at the time.
Yeah.
One that we didn't see happening either, it was just like, whoa, what the hell?
I remember like they gave it like a premiere spot as well, like but like back in the day, like this is the thing. I feel like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon in America are very different to Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon here. Like I remember when I went to America, they do premieres for certain episodes, like a new episode of like a cartoon.
Okay.
And they'd advertise like that. But here they never did that, did they? They never like said, "Oh, tune into this special episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog," and then it'd be a weekly thing. It would just be like, "Hey, here's his new series." Barely even that.
Yeah, if we had something like that, it was probably like it was more focused on like, hey, here's the made for TV movie.
That's what they did for the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
Yeah. I remember those adverts super hard.
Yeah, like that's how big it was for us. Like they actually gave it a premiere on that channel. Like that was a big deal for us.
Oh man.
I don't remember much from it though.
Is it bad that I also don't really remember that much either?
I just remember Timmy Turner just going into 3D and I thought that was just like that was weird. It's weird to see him like that, but
What all I remember is that Timmy Turner basically goes into Jimmy Neutron's world, and then somehow, I guess because everyone thinks Jimmy Neutron's such a nerd, that like somehow Timmy Turner comes across as like really cool in that universe.
yeah.
And he like quickly becomes like one of the cool kids, quote unquote. Because I remember he was like chatting up like Cindy and like friggin', like Carl and Sheen were like, Timmy's cool.
Yeah, didn't they say he had a massive head as well, or something like that? I think
I
there was something
mean,
about a massive head. Like, so it's like one of them. Like, oh, it's really bugging me as well. I think I need to rewatch this actually.
maybe it was Jimmy Neutron in Fairly Odd Parents.
Hmm.
Timmy Turner, I wouldn't have said had a much bigger head than the rest of those Jimmy Neutron characters. Jimmy Neutron's characters had massive friggin' heads already.
Yeah, like Jimmy Neutron kind of made like he looked like fine in the like Fairly Odd Parents animation bits,
Yeah,
but when Timmy went over into the Jimmy Neutron like world, it kind of looked a bit strange.
you know what it is? It's the fact that he's like really short
Yeah.
and also has massive teeth, and they give him like proportional eyes.
I think it was the eyes. It definitely was the eyes for it. Like,
I just remember like Timmy Turner's like 3D model had really fucking huge teeth, like front teeth, and his eyes were huge.
I swear there's like a meme. There's like a meme or something of like Timmy Turner in the universe, and like he just looks really weird. It's like because that's the thing with like the like Jimmy Neutron characters. They're like the eyes are like a lot smaller or whatever. And they're as weird as it sounds. Like their face shapes are a lot more human like, obviously. But like obviously, Fairly Odd Parents, their eyes are massive. They got massive features. Nothing wrong with that art style at all. Nothing wrong with either art style. But when one translates into the other, it kind of just looks like, oh, I'm not sure if that works. But no, yeah, that was a good one. I remember what was it, the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of character, like the
Oh yeah,
I remember him appearing in one of them as well. I can't remember which one he appeared. It must have been which universe he appeared in anyway. I don't know. Like,
that he was Fairly Odd Parents because he was like
he was Fairly Odd Parents, but then
the crazy strong, like he was the leader of the fairies or whatever.
did he appear in the Jimmy Neutron universe? I feel like he did, but I'm also not sure.
I don't seem to remember that.
Maybe I'm making it up.
Maybe he did though. I mean, I don't. I mentioned this just because, again, at the time it was real big because like Fairly Odd Parents was like one of the top shows at the time. But like, I actually don't really remember that much because that was probably a good 10 years ago, at least 10+ years ago. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, it was quite a while ago for us, and it's not that fresh in my mind. And I don't particularly go around being like, yeah, I watch Jimmy Timmy Power Hour all the time.
Yeah,
It's my favorite fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like,
But I do remember the hype for it. I do agree with you. It was one of the, like a very big hype for anyone our age that still watched cartoons at that point. Just some shows individually were quite cool. I enjoyed them.
yeah, I mean, I preferred Fairly Odd Parents to Jimmy Neutron personally, but
Oh, like that was one thing as well. I remember Universal. They don't have any more. Universal in America in Orlando. They had a Nickelodeon ride, and it had a crossover between I think 5 of the big Nickelodeon cartoons at the time.
oh, okay, that's cool.
I believe it was Fairly Odd Parents. It was SpongeBob, Rugrats.
Rugrats, really
Rugrats are in there, yeah.
interesting.
Oh, Jimmy Neutron, and there's one more. I can't remember what the last one is.
Cat Dog.
No, I don't think it was Cat. I don't think it was Cat Dog.
Oh,
Oh, it might have been. Could it have been the Wild Thornberries? I don't think it was Wild Thornberries.
What? How could that's older than Cat Dog? I would have put Cat Dog above Wild Thornberries.
Oh, I can't remember what the fourth one. You got like if whoever's editing this, if you find a graphic of it,
Yeah,
just
that's
put it
if.
up. Yeah, if we find a graphic, it might not exist anymore. But this ride was awesome, by the way, as well. Like it was like 4D, so it was like moving seats. It was like spraying like smells and 4D shit in your face. It is a really good ride, but
Wow.
it's shut down now. I think they replaced it with the Despicable Me ride, I think.
Lame.
Even that, I don't know if that's still there or not. So
I don't know. All I know is Universal Japan. It's not just a ride. That's a whole area, like Despicable Me.
yeah, a whole area for Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's not get into that.
Anyway, that's not a crossover.
Yeah. Anyway, crossover. What else is a good one? I feel like we need to mention the crossovers that One Piece and Dragon Ball have had.
Yes.
Because there's been a fair few, to be fair, haven't there?
Yeah.
Like, well, one I remember there was the first thing I saw of this was the manga. There's like a special chapter that Ichiro Oda and Akira Toriyama did, and there wasn't like a proper story. There might have been a proper story to it, but it wasn't like a fleshed out thing.
Which one is that? Is that a Cross Epoch?
Cross Epoch, indeed. That's exactly it. I think that when they go into a massive feast or something, it was like Luffy and Goku were like trying to get to certain places, and
I know I read this, but again, that was so long ago.
yeah, I remember Krillin was a train driver there, and Buggy and Pilaf were the enemies, and like they were trying to ruin something, and obviously in true Dragon Ball One Piece style, they like blasted them off like Pokemon thing, like there's a little sparkle in the sky and everything. I remember Vegeta, Piccolo, Sanji, and Robin were on a spaceship together as well. I think Zoro might have been there.
Oh yeah.
It was that kind of vibe. Trunks was probably involved. I remember Chopper was working with Krillin, I believe. Again, like it's been a while. But there's that crossover. Again, like at the time, at the time being, I was a massive One Piece and Dragon Ball fan when I started getting into anime and stuff and manga. Like this is a really cool crossover. I mean, just the idea of them coming together was a good vibe. Like it was something to get hyped over.
Yeah. I mean, equally so. Also, like I want to say it was 2012, maybe 2013. Where they did that. It was a really big deal that One Piece, Dragon Ball, Toriko, I believe Bleach as well.
It was just the anime. Yeah, it was just the three of them in the anime. It was literally just because originally there was just One Piece and Toriko that crossed over.
Then they had to have the boy Goku, like
So it's like there's two different crossover here. There's One Piece and Toriko, which was just like it was like typical Toriko sort of anime where like cross with One Piece. Like, oh yeah, the Straw Hats find themselves an island, and Toriko and Komatsu. Is it Komatsu?
yes. How do you not remember your favorite character?
Oh, shut the. Just don't like Komatsu. I'm not getting into this again. I'm not getting. It's making me angry because I don't know if I've really talked about this on my channel. I don't. On my channel,
I think I think we've had small arguments about it here and there randomly.
If anyone doesn't know, and if they know the Toriko anime or manga, like you'll know that the two main characters pretty much are Toriko and Komatsu. And like Toriko, yeah, he makes some good like strides in his like progression of the story and all that sort of thing. And it's understandable because he's one of the 4 heavenly kings, I believe.
Yes.
But then Komatsu comes out of nowhere. He's like this random chef that isn't really supposed to be that good, and that works in a pretty shitty starred hotel compared to the rest of the gourmet world. And suddenly he just has food luck. What the fuck is food luck? And like he goes from a shit chef to like becoming one of the best ones in the world or whatever. And I'm like, how does this make sense? Like sometimes when an anime or manga character starts off really shit and they make good progression, it's because they've trained or whatever. But like
he did train. They trained for 2 years in the natural world.
No, I don't like this idea of a Komatsu. That's Komatsu training. You can surely like with a chef or whatever, like you have somewhat of a natural talent, and like you do learn things. Don't get me wrong, you can like do that sort of shit. But like Komatsu was like pitched as a shit character from the start, and then suddenly he just becomes like world class.
Yeah, because he gets protag powers from Toriko.
I hate it. I absolutely like. I don't think any anime character makes me more furious than Komatsu. But that aside,
You're just jealous because you don't have amazing food luck and didn't appear in a One Piece crossover.
If I did have food luck, I'd be fucking chuffed, to be honest, mate. But it's just the progression. Where did he get this food luck from? How come he's just found it now?
He always had it.
How's he been working in a shitty restaurant for his whole life and then suddenly he meets Toriko and it's...
Because it didn't activate yet till we went to the Pyramid of Food Luck.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm a pyramid of food. I'm a fucking... Anyway, the original crossover was Toriko One Piece and they all met and like Sanji was cooking shit. Like Toriko was like, blah, 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 food stuff. And then that was one special. Then this special with Dragon Ball followed up. Like, and arguably, I think this is like the special that everyone remembers more.
Yeah, I forgot there was just a One Piece Toriko beforehand.
Yeah, like this is the one that you're gonna remember more of because it was literally just a crossover.
Well, also it was the one that was talked about the most, right? Because like that made waves across the internet.
This is the first like televised Dragon Ball crossover with One Piece as well. Obviously, we had Cross Epoch and stuff. And we've had the One Piece and Toriko crossover. But like the Toriko is massive back in the day as well. This is like one of the things that always kind of like not shocks me, but I'm quite surprised it never made it that big in the West, considering how big it was in Japan. Like I don't know if like they even bothered to try and translate it over or whatever, or like try and localize it.
They must have, because you had the volume and I read that in English.
Yeah.
And the anime did come over, but maybe it came over too late.
Yeah. I'm not even sure, but either way, Toriko just never hit it that big. But like obviously One Piece and Dragon Ball were like sizable series. And to be fair, like I don't think the Toriko anime did as well. I think it censored a lot of stuff and the manga was sort of better from what I hear.
Fair.
That's one thing. But anyway, to the story of the crossover of Toriko, One Piece, Dragon Ball. It was good. Was it good?
It was alright.
I felt like Luffy and Toriko were like when you compare One Piece and Toriko, you can kind of feel like they're on the same power level a little bit.
Yeah, but then you throw Goku in there and it's just sort of like,
It kind of feels a bit more redundant, don't it?
Especially because that was like, what? That must have been Luffy just a little bit after time skip.
Yeah, like that was when Elephant Gun was like his big move at the time.
Yeah, like, so Luffy wasn't even that impressive.
No, he really wasn't. And like Toriko, like, yeah, as I said, like it felt like they were on the same power level as One Piece in some way. But then I think I remember it being one. Okay, let's get into this first. There was a battle between Goku, Luffy, and Toriko, and at that point I was like, as much as a big One Piece fan I am, like I know for a fact that Goku would beat Toriko and Luffy hands down.
Yeah, that's no competition. Like, it didn't even have to. That was way before Super, and like Goku at any point, especially back then, definitely could have beat them without transforming.
I'm pretty sure he definitely didn't go Super Saiyan to fight against him. But like from what I remember, the reason why Luffy had an edge over Goku was because obviously Luffy has Devil Fruit powers. So when Goku did punch him, obviously he didn't feel anything because obviously Goku doesn't have Haki, although arguably he has some other technique which I'm sure would be just as bad. So that was one thing. I can't remember what thing Toriko did. He must have done like didn't he have like a shield fork thing? I feel like that might have been.
Was that around then? I remember all his main attack was normally his what was it? His 9-inch Kugi punch or nail punch.
Kugi punch, yeah.
And his I don't remember if he was doing flying knife and fork yet.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, to be honest, mate, with the Toriko stuff. Yeah, like that, it kind of felt like a bit bullshit, that fight. Kind of like they nerfed Goku so much. But understandably so, if you want to make it an interesting fight. You can't just like throw Goku in there and he beats the shit out of him and it's like, hey, game over.
Yeah, well, also, you don't want to flame active fandoms because, you know, at the time, One Piece and Toriko were ongoing and Dragon Ball was finished.
Yeah.
And we'd only just started getting sprinklings that, oh, there might be a new series for Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's true. And at the time, what was that? That would have been 2013, I believe it was.
Yeah, like roughly.
It was okay though. This crossover was okay. The second thing I wanted to mention though was the big bad or whatever it is. I think it might have been a monster of some sort. Like, you know, like in Toriko, they're always hunting monsters for the food and like eating them and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember like there's like a big finisher, which did look pretty awesome. But you had like Toriko doing his like Kugi punch, and then you had Luffy going like, elephant gun. And then Goku comes in at the end, like, with just like Kamehameha. Absolutely just like, I think he goes Super Saiyan 3. Doesn't even just go to Super Saiyan to defeat this. He goes Super Saiyan 3. And it kind of felt like, what? That feels a lot stronger than the rest of the shit that these guys have been doing. This guy could have taken all this, like, these animals out, like, just with that. Probably absolutely roasted them, like, annihilated them.
Well, I mean, Goku could have fucking taken down mostly anyone by that point. Again, I'd still think at that point in time, Goku, even though he hadn't been in a series for a long time, was still probably one of the stronger shonen characters in existence.
Yeah.
And he's only just continuously gotten more strong. Like,
I mean, consider this. Like, I remember reading a interview with Masashi Kishimoto, the mangaka of Naruto.
Yeah.
And when he was comparing power levels to people, so the end game Madara in Naruto Shippuden is supposedly the equivalent power level as Nappa.
Oh god.
So think of it that way, like that Madara in Naruto is the same power level as Nappa, and Nappa is like very early Dragon Ball, like
yeah. Wait, so Madara was so like endgame.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that by the end of it, Naruto and Sasuke are probably the equivalent of like a 3 times Kaioken?
Possibly, like maybe like same powers, maybe the Ginyu Force, I'd say.
Okay, so that's at least I don't know, like a 10 times Kaioken.
Maybe a Zarbon or Dodoria. Like, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, probably.
Oh my god, that puts things into perspective. I always thought like if anyone was going to be able to sort of do something to Goku, I always thought someone from the Naruto universe probably. And now you've said that, I'm like, no way, they'd get destroyed.
Arguably, it depends on what kind of Naruto character it is, because they have Genjutsu on their side, so they can probably pull some strings a little bit.
Yeah, but like
sort of characters like Itachi, for example, might have a bit of an edge on Goku.
maybe, but like if you're talking just sheer power, then like friggin' Goten and Trunks could kill Naruto characters.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure like Goten and Trunks probably just end up killing Naruto. that's a genuine fact that I might trigger a lot of people with that phrase, but it's true. Like he's Super Saiyan, like considering how much. Yeah,
Holy crap!
it's a little
I didn't know I didn't know they ever say things like that in interviews, but that's mad.
I think it was right at the end of Naruto, like when Kishimoto was closing it up or whatever. And I think someone asked him like, "Oh, like what would happen if like Naruto or Goku got in a fight or whatever?" And he was like, "Yeah, Madara's the same level as Nappa, so maybe keep that in mind when you're comparing the two characters."
My god.
Yeah, it's not often you get those sort of things. I remember there's I guess it ties into the crossover universe again, but Kishimoto and Oda, they did an interview together as well, talking about like their favorite parts in their respective mangas.
Mm-hmm.
And like like what sort of points they like more, and like comparing stuff. I feel like it's a lot of like compliments to one another. Let's put it that way. There's always like, oh yeah, I really respect Kishimoto Sensei, stuff like that, and vice versa with Oda Sensei. Like it is all like very much. Oh, like I appreciate this series. I appreciate this series. So if you find it, yeah, give it a read. But yeah, there's some sort of crossover there with mangaka authors for you.
I mean, we can go further into that.
Mm-hmm.
The Jump games themselves are massive crossovers of Jump series.
Yeah, there's so many good ones that I really enjoy. Like I'm currently playing one right now on my mobile. God, that sounds old. On my smartphone. It's called Jump Ulti Heroes, and it is literally like you think that like Jump Superstars or Ultimate Stars has a big catalog of series. I think it's like maybe there's 52 playable characters in that game, which is quite good.
Wow.
Like for like a DS game at that time. That is a pretty fucking good deal. But then Jump Ulti Heroes like is a puzzle game, like line connect sort of thing. You know, like you tap it and
it's a match 3 or 4 gacha game.
Yeah, it's a gacha game. That 100% is that. And then that's got like a shit ton of characters in it, a shit ton of series, and it keeps on coming with updates as well. And it's just a really good mobile game. I don't understand shit in it because it's only out available in Japan.
Okay, I was gonna say
So
it's probably a good thing to mention that before people go like,
yeah.
"Oh, where can I get this?" And it's like not translated.
Honestly, like download if you really want to play it, download a Japanese iTunes account, or create an Japanese iTunes account. Download that stuff, and it's quite simple to be fair. If you obviously gacha, so bear in mind, like if you want to pay money for gems, go for it. That's all what you want to do. It's not my vibe. I'm all free to play. I always do that.
Don't forget, if you are the type of person who likes spending money, it might be a bit difficult, and you might be spending more than you want to because of conversion rates and whatever.
Conversion rate will fuck you. I mean, unless you have like a like I don't know, some sort of I don't know if you can use a Monzo or something. Again, I've never really set up a thing. Like you might need to buy an iTunes card, like a Japanese one. But regardless of that,
Oh, that sounds like so much effort, but
it is a lot of effort because I think I looked into it at one point. I was like, oh, I could do this, and then I just stopped myself because I just looked at the price and I was like, no, can't afford that. I'd like at that point, I'd rather just pay for like Jump Force at that point.
I don't want to pay for that.
Arguably, Jump Force is like I put that underneath like J Star's Victory VS, which is a great. I loved it. I love it feels like more of a party game.
That was a good one.
I did like that because you still have the support characters in it. It felt like again, my favorite is Jump Ultimate Stars. I think I've mentioned this in the previous one, and it's so good. It's like a Smash Bros esque fighter.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. It is more of a Smash Bros, but with jump characters, and quite a lot of them. You know, I don't know any other game or series of games where I can play as Goku and Kenshiro and Suna and Yugi.
Oh man, yeah.
And you know, like these are great because if there's a shonen franchise that you like, at least in the older ones, probably in it.
Definitely, and they had like the support characters were great in as well. Like even like sure you wouldn't be able to fight with anyone from like Prince of Tennis or Slam Dunk for a bit, like for example, but they would be support characters that you can include in your own little manga panel on the touch screen, which you use to switch between characters and use support. But it's so good, man. I really do wish they made another one. I think we've mentioned that before as well.
Well, many a time.
I'd love another Jump Ultimate Stars like follow up. Victory VS was like it still incorporated that party element. Sure, it didn't have as many characters in, but it still had your support characters, so it represents all those like sports and rom-com series. And obviously, you had you had your Goku, Luffy, Ichigo, Naruto, Toriko, Gintoki. I can go on and on about how many good series are in this, like Suna as well.
Oh, dude. I was just thinking about it. Could you imagine like a Jump Ultimate Stars, not remaster, remake on Switch?
Hey.
Ooh.
I'd take like remaster, remake, whatever. I'll take that shit in a heartbeat. I would like honestly. This game is like my childhood, like in my teens or whatever. So yeah, 100%. I'll take that stuff. Like even if they didn't update it, even if they just brought over like just ported it somehow. I don't know how they would, but if they did, I'd be forever grateful, man. Oh, I'll probably cry. Oh, like,
and that would be the first time I'd ever consider having face cam.
Honestly, man, like when you look at some other games like that have come out recently, I say other games, the only one that's come up since then with a jump crossover is Jump Force, and arguably, yeah, it's not the best game, far from it, but and the story is we don't talk about the story in Jump Force because when I say there's stuff that sounds like fan fiction, that's fan fiction. That's like next level. I guess it ties into like another big crossover game, which I feel like we have to talk about. It's Smash Bros. Like
I try to hold off as long as possible for those who have been with us for a while.
Yeah, it ties in. I'm not going to go into too much detail of what Smash Bros is because I feel like I've done my hype on that before and all that.
Also, at time of recording, Sora came out about a week ago, so you know what Smash Bros is.
Yeah, top tier shit, man. But I more relate to Smash Bros in terms of their story and brawl. You know what I mean?
Subspace Emissary. I loved it.
This like I love this. Like obviously there's some like it does borderline fan fiction, but again, it is a really I was heavily invested in this story of Subspace. Like,
well, it was pretty decent considering they just got all Nintendo characters. But I heard they got someone from Final Fantasy to actually write that story.
They did, didn't they? Yeah, it's very true. They did do that. So you think it, like, if someone from Final Fantasy wrote that, like, it is fan fiction, but it's fucking good fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, especially when this is the thing that I like about, like, this is what I wanted to compare about Jump Force and Brawl, because Jump Force had a story which felt a little bit cringy. It had, like, considering looking for Dragon Balls, for example, and I think it's dialogue which kind of makes it feel cheesy. Where with Subspace Emissary, you didn't have that, like, that much. You obviously wouldn't have dialogue because none of the characters spoke in it. But
Well, I mean, most Nintendo, protagonists don't talk.
no, you had Link going, "Ah!" But no, like, I thought it was really cool. Like...
Sorry, the way you did that just then reminds me of freaking. I think it was a Timbaland song. Where I'm bringing
Oh.
sexy back. Yeah, you are the brothers. You don't know how to act. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my! Oh, Link remix of a Timberland song. That's what we need. That's the ultimate crossover right there. We don't need to talk about no more crossovers. A Timberland Link like collaboration. That's what we're talking about.
Oh man.
But no, they like included some dialogue in like World of Light, didn't they? Like you had Marth, Pit, and Zelda.
Yeah.
Spoke in the first like cutscene of World of Light, and then we didn't get any other dialogue after that. It was a cool cutscene though. It was a cool one.
Yeah, I mean, but you end up seeing it all the time, so it's kind of like it loses its luster. But
I like in Subspace Emissary. I don't know if you have a favorite clip at all, but like my favorite one was it's where like it's like kind of heading towards the final battle, and like all like the video game character like spaceships turn up. Like so you had Fox in his R-wing, you had Samus's spaceship, Olimar's spaceship, you had Kirby coming through on a warp star, like destroying some shit, like, and the Brawl main theme is playing in the background, and that gives me goosebumps every time I watch that. That is a very good cutscene.
I haven't watched the cutscenes in ages,
Yeah.
so I actually can't come up with one.
There's some funny bits in it as well, isn't there? Like
Like I remember fighting Rayquaza, like
oh, that was a cool one. I like that.
that's like I sort of remember bits of stages and stuff like that seems to come up in memory, but like I can't remember any cutscenes.
Yeah, like, well, that's the thing. Like, Sakurai didn't make another Subspace Emissary, or didn't like doing it because everyone uploaded those clips to the internet, and Sakurai didn't like that. So he was like, "There's no more of that." He cut out the whole like cutscene thing, basically.
Oh, fair, but I kind of get that.
He's incorporated it very well into the trailers, though, so you can't get that. Like, you get that sort of like character interaction in those like Smash Bros. Trailers now. So that's where you're getting them. So they're available to the public. You can watch them as much of the time as you like, and they're not actually in the game. So yeah, well, I like the trailer. They did really well with the trailers in Smash 4 and onwards, didn't they? I thought those always brought some hype.
Yeah, they were really cool. Those announcement trailers are pretty sick. Although sometimes they were a bit cheesy, you know.
Yeah, I can.
Like the Pyramithra one comes to mind because it's like,
oh god, yeah.
Oh, where is Pyra? Been looking for her for ages. I'm so worried. I got invited to Smash. See you later, nerd.
Yeah, there are some sort of ones like that. I think you got more towards in Ultimate. That's when they became a little bit more cheesier. Pyramithra one was, it felt a bit drawn out as well, so I don't think that would be my favorite.
I think the coolest one, at least to me, was still Ridley.
Ridley's one was cool. I love Sephiroth's. Sephiroth's was like, I think because it had like unexpected, like you had Mario getting impaled on his sword as well.
Yeah, but like fucking Ridley straight up kills Mega Man.
Like, he killed Mega Man. Like Mario dies as well. Like Mario died in quite a few of them trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, Luigi got absolutely destroyed in Simon Belmont's one.
I don't remember that.
Like, what was it? Because it's the Castlevania theme in it, so it has all like the mummies walking around and all like the Medusa heads and stuff, and then the Grim Reaper shows up.
Oh yeah.
And Luigi's just walking around with his poltergust, like trying to like using his like plunger and everything. He's doing his best, but they're Castlevania enemies, mate. You're gonna die. And then the Grim Reaper steals his soul. And then Luigi, at the end of the trailer, Luigi's dead body is on the floor and his ghost is like hovering around it. So,
oh no, Luigi.
Yeah, they killed Luigi. They killed Mario. They killed Luigi. But yeah, there's a lot of good Smash Bros. Trailers. They always brought the hype. Is there any other crossovers?
I finally remembered what it is, and the final one I'll mention, and as a 90s kid, is very important. Power Rangers and Turtles. Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers had crossovers.
Oh, I never saw this.
So they had like crossover episodes. I think there was a movie, and more recently they had a comic book run where the Turtles and the Power Rangers cross over, and then the Turtles become the fucking Power Rangers.
What? Jeez.
Yeah, like these are two really big franchises from the 90s that just it blows your mind, you know?
I'm like, to be fair, I'm like probably one of the only kids that wasn't hyped about the Power Rangers or the Turtles, but that is like,
What?
no, yeah, I don't. I'm a disagree.
Oh wow, I'm learning things. I'm learning things.
I was never that hyped about it. I don't exactly know why, but no, that does sound like a pretty freaking good crossover though. If the
Yeah,
Turtles became the Power Rangers, I was like, damn, okay.
like that's the freshest like Power Ranger Ninja Turtle crossover I remember, but like they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like there's they have crossovers from Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. I want to say fairly often. It's just really cool when you can see like because I feel like that's like a different type of crossover, you know. That one is just they're always pure fan fiction.
Yeah.
Pretty much because it's just like how did the Power Rangers get into a different world? I don't know, but let's hang out with Ninja Turtles.
That's all you need here. Like how they get there? Fuck knows, but let's see some awesome. There must have been some awesome fights in that. There must have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, like when I was a kid and they had the crossovers, it was old like movie Ninja Turtle suits.
Yeah.
The ones with the really big, like creepy looking faces.
Oh, ooh, okay, yeah, them. I know the one. I've seen memes about them. I've seen memes.
Yeah.
Is there one where like one of the turtles has a second mouth on the inside, like kind of like Alien?
I think so, yeah. But it was those costumes and it was like Power Rangers. So they still did all of the cheesy, you know, like flailing around and whatever. But then they would fight together and it was like, as a little kid, like that blew my mind because I was like, what? Oh my god!
That sounds sick. To be fair, I think even if I wasn't hyped about either one of them, which I'm not really. Like, I'd be hyped for that cross. That's the thing. Like, crossovers make you hyped about stuff, even if you didn't care about them beforehand. Like, I'd be hyped about that.
The ones we talked about, like, I was hyped about that Dragon Ball Toriko One Piece crossover, and at the time, I only liked Toriko and Dragon Ball. I wasn't actually into One Piece at the time, so it was like, oh my god. You know, like, and like when I played the Jump games, I'd only watched whatever anime had come out like on TV. So I wasn't really into that many shonen franchises, but like I still played them because I was like so amazed, you know, like that all these other characters are in it.
I mean, like that's the same with me though. To be fair, when I picked like Jump Ultimate Stars or Jump Superstars, kind of the reason why I got into a lot of the anime that I'm into today. Because at the time when I saw this advertised, I only knew Goku and Yugi from the front cover.
Yeah, because that's all we had, pretty much.
That's all we had, and like shortly after that game came out, Luffy, like One Piece came onto TV in the UK. And shortly after that, Naruto did as well, and Bobobo. I mean, Shaman King was there as well, actually. Like all these started like appearing on like Fox Kids and Cartoon Network and stuff.
And various other channels, like
yeah, and like that, I think that's where like that's where that game came in. And you're like, oh wow, like this is where the nostalgia, like not nostalgia, but like this is where it all comes from, basically. And that's what made me the weeb I am today. I'm not sure about you. Like, is there like any series that you like when you played Jump Ultimate Stars or any other similar Jump games? Like, was there any series in there that you didn't know about which you decided to pick up afterwards?
There are so many. I think the main one is Fist of the North Star.
Oh yeah.
And I guess to a much later, not directly because of it, but I did end up getting into JoJo's much later.
Oh, same. Yeah.
And like I've tried to get into Saint Seiya, and you know, like there's quite a lot of them that not directly because of that game, because at the time I didn't really research. You know, I was probably on like 14.
Yeah.
Like I probably didn't think to type it in on Google for some reason. But like a lot of those series from back then, I did end up getting into like way later. And yeah, if I went back to that game now, I'd probably find most of them were there.
Yeah, it's doing it. Like, I remember getting into Death Note because of it. Like, and then suddenly Death Note became massive in the West. That was I was like one of those kids. I knew Death Note before it was cool.
Oh, he was a hipster.
But like, definitely, it's an easy one to get into. Like, if you're just getting into anime and manga, I feel.
It is normally one of the ones that like people are like, yeah, you should watch that.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. But yeah, I think I'm just going to mention one last crossover.
Sure.
And it's quite fresh in my mind, just because I've started picking up recently. I did play this as a kid. Off of the back of Smash Bros as well, Sora being announced as a character, I had a sudden wave of like, I want to play Kingdom Hearts again. So last week I picked up
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. And I didn't actually play Kingdom Hearts 1. I only played Kingdom Hearts 2 when I was a kid, and I made quite a way through it, but never finished it. So I do love this crossover. Like, this is a good one.
A very ambitious one as well.
Oh yeah, like it's mad when you think about it. Like, just going through Kingdom Hearts 1, the fact that like Cloud's there and like all the other like Final Fantasy characters are in it. Right from the start as well.
Cloud, Aerith,
Yeah.
Leon, Yuffie, Sid.
Yeah, that's just the Final Fantasy characters as well. Like, when you go into all the Disney stuff that's in there.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it so crazy, isn't it? And like, is the most unexpected crossover probably ever. It's Final Fantasy and Disney of all things.
Yeah, like,
and it all came about because two guys from those companies worked in the same building and started talking in the lift.
That's mad. What a crossover! Like, it's.
Could you imagine like doing that now? Like, one of the craziest crossovers to ever exist, like, came about because two guys were talking in the elevator at work.
It's really cool hearing those stories, though. I do like hearing that. It's like you say, it's ambitious as hell. And there's something about Cloud getting destroyed and Hercules rescuing him.
Yeah,
it's just like what?
Well, that's it's also like the fact that in Kingdom Hearts 1, like, what was it? Like, Hollow Bastion is in the background, so that's Beast's castle, right? And in the little town in front of it, that's where you meet all the other Final Fantasy characters.
Very strange. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it up just because I've been playing it recently as well. I'm only a little bit the way through so far. I think I've just finished, where am I at in Kingdom Hearts? I just finished, what's the world? Tarzan's World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished that one, so I'm on to the next bit, hopefully. So I might keep you updated on my journey, most likely not, but there we go. more than likely, if any of our conversations are to go by, Nathan, I'm gonna get through maybe one or two more worlds in Kingdom Hearts and then drop it and play something else.
Probably, and then you'll tell me in the next however many videos. Yeah, I'll go back. I'll finish it one day.
It's gonna be next week's episode. I know it's good. How you doing, Kingdom Hearts, Pepe? Dropped it.
I started some other weep game.
100%. It's probably gonna be Kimetsu no Yaiba as well, because I got to make my way through that as well. So I'm taking on quite a few games at the same time. But yes, there's an insight into my gaming stuff. Anything else you want to mention, Nathan?
Nah, there's plenty of crossovers. We might, if we feel like it, or if you guys let us know in the comments below if you like this episode or not, and crossovers you like. Maybe we'll do another episode because there's plenty more to talk about, and there's always crossovers coming out. And again, we've only scratched the surface. Like, these are things we just mostly picked out from the top of our brains. Like, we didn't plan to talk about any, well, not specifically any one franchise crossover. So yeah, please do let us know in the comments below if you want another episode like this, and don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notified when our next videos come out. And from me, that's everything.
Nice one, guys. Well, thank you for listening again, and we will see you next time.
Oh yeah, don't forget to check us out on podcast platforms. See you later.
What you said. Yeah, bye.